However, it's really important to note that your height also comes into play for the Adonis Index. I mean, your shoulders to your waist is really the golden ratio. What we're aiming for is a ratio of 1 to 1.618. But applying this to your body properly to get the full Adonis Index effect involves your height. If you look at our two-dimensional man here, and keep in mind this is rough because in a true Adonis Index we're dealing with circumferences in a 3D level, not just a 2D picture, but we're going to work with what we have for now. You see that with this 6-foot person, he has the best Adonis Index you could have. In fact, if you look at his waist as a two-dimensional figure, the distance between his shoulders and his waist measurement is exactly the 2 dimensions of his waist. This creates the perfect triangle, the golden triangle, what we're trying to accomplish with the ratios of your waist to your shoulders. Now, if you take the exact same measurements, but apply them instead to a 5'6" man, because we've lost 4 inches in height, well, you still have the same shoulders and the same waist. Only now, if you look, see, it's slightly off. Not a big deal when you're looking at, 6 foot to 5'6", but it does make a difference. Now, if we take this a bit farther to a 5'2" man, okay, we lost about 10 inches. Sure, he's still got great shoulders and a waist. He's got the ratio, but now it's very off. You see now that the ratio of the width of his waist to the distance between his shoulders to his waist is really off. This starts to create a squished effect. You start looking more like a comic book mockery of a bodybuilder. The key to the Adonis Index is a perfect aesthetic pleasing body that includes the effects of height. It's a complete 3-dimensional full body index. Now if you take it to a 6'10" man, again we're going to extremes, so this person's about 10 inches above a 6-foot man, he can still have the same shoulders and the same waist. Only now, see, we're off in the other direction. What we have now is a very narrow man who still has the Adonis Index with a golden ratio, but doesn't have the true Adonis Index because it's not correlated to his height. So if you look at our man here, you can see that he's become very narrow. He still has proportionately pleasing body, but not the best it could be. So let's take a 6-foot tall man again, but non-optimized. You see here, with his height, he should be wider both in the waist and his shoulders. So when we fix it, you see now the man becomes a lot more pleasing. He's broader and he's the ideal shape for 6 feet. And this is what we want to accomplish with the Adonis Index. We want to base it off of the measurements of your height to get the exact numbers for your body. Now, I know some people have said that, Brad, I don't want to put on a ½ inch on my waist. You're going to make me fat. Well, remember this is circumference, so a ½ inch is very small. What tends to happen is that for your height, if you have the proper shoulders, you have no choice but to have a slightly, remember these are circumferences, slightly wider waist, because you have to support the muscle mass of your proper shoulder width. So if you feel in the small of your back right now, on either side of your spine, 2 muscles, so your erector spinae, and they're responsible for a large portion of lifting and pulling and maintaining proper posture. They get worked when you do things like squats and deadlifts and things like overhead presses. Most exercises where you're working your shoulders, your erector spinae and your abs are keeping you from tipping over. So in order to support